Technical talks have begun in Doha, but what is really on the high-stakes agenda behind closed doors? As Netanyahu strikes a defiant tone, the US and its allies are scrambling to calm Iran and keep diplomacy alive. Mujtaba Khamenei's representatives have skipped the meeting, citing Israel's continuing military campaign in Lebanon as the reason. Iran has now laid down a clear condition, revealing exactly when it may return to direct negotiations with the United States. Hectic negotiations are now underway in the Qatari capital, Doha, as efforts intensify to secure an Iran-US peace agreement. The indirect talks in Doha have primarily focused on the release of frozen Iranian assets and the future of the Strait of Hormuz. A senior Iranian official told Reuters that negotiations involved mediators and representatives from Qatar, Pakistan, and the United States. At least 3 separate working groups have reportedly been established to advance the negotiations in Doha. According to Al Jazeera, all 3 groups are working alongside mediators from both Pakistan and Qatar to move the agreement forward. Along with the release of frozen Iranian funds, Tehran's nuclear program remains a central focus of the ongoing discussions. Lebanon has emerged as one of the biggest sticking points preventing the finalization of the Iran-US framework. Iran has refused to engage directly with the United States, accusing Israel of violating the Memorandum of Understanding through continued strikes in Lebanon. Mujtaba Khamenei's representatives have reportedly remained firm that Israel must completely withdraw from southern Lebanon. Iran's lead negotiator, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, has publicly outlined Tehran's conditions for returning to direct negotiations.
At the moment, we are coordinating and holding discussions to ensure those conditions in MOU are fulfilled. I will explain further later. Until those commitments are in place, we will not move on to the remaining provisions at all. Sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz rests with Iran and Oman, and with the arrangements that Iran determines there. From the day that we, in fact, lifted the blockade until today, we have exported more than 40 million barrels of oil. Today, we are receiving the same price for our oil as the Brent price quoted on international markets. Iran, the United States, and Lebanon agreed to establish a joint committee that would provide oversight on implementation, bring about an end to the war, and consolidate Lebanon's national sovereignty there.
On June 30th, both Iran and Qatar confirmed that Tehran would not participate in face-to-face talks with President Trump's envoys in Doha. The Doha discussions serve as a technical follow-up to the recent diplomatic understandings reached between Iran and the United States. However, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and President Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner are not participating directly in the technical negotiations.
Basically, we had no plan to meet with the American side at any level in the coming days. So there is nothing to withdraw from. Mr. Ghalibaf had announced this in the beginning, and I also clearly stated it yesterday. What is likely to take place in Doha tomorrow are discussions regarding the implementation of certain clauses of the Memorandum of Understanding, including the clause related to the release of Iran's restricted assets, which will be held with the Qatari side. Therefore, I emphasize again that we have not planned any meeting at any level with the American side for the next few days. It is clear that the United States' failure to adhere to its commitments under the Memorandum of Understanding will inevitably have a negative impact on the continuation of this process. There is no doubt about that. First, we will allow no action to go unanswered. As the powerful armed forces of Iran have demonstrated, any aggressive action against the Islamic Republic's targets will be met with a decisive and immediate response. Second, such actions constitute a violation of Clause 1 of the memorandum. Naturally, should these violations persist and recur, the continuation of the process will face serious difficulties. Regarding Lebanon, our position is clear. America's commitment to ending the war on all fronts, including Lebanon, is an explicit commitment under Clause 1 of the Memorandum of Understanding. It is important for us that America adheres to its commitments and, wherever necessary, forces the Zionist regime to fulfill its commitment as well, because it is clear that the counterpart to the Islamic Republic of Iran in this Memorandum of Understanding is America. Whatever is agreed upon or not agreed upon outside of this Memorandum of Understanding, our criterion for assessing America's adherence to its commitment is this text of the Memorandum of Understanding. It was clear to us that NATO and some of its member states were actively involved in the design, implementation, and support of the aggressive actions of the United States and the Zionist regime. What the Secretary General of NATO said, helping the U.S. in the war against Iran, has two aspects. First, it is an explicit admission complicity in committing a crime of aggression against Iran. Everyone knows that the actions of the United States and the Zionist regime were illegal and aggressive according to all standards and rules of international law. It was a legal war. Second, this admission can be cited as evidence in any court. Regarding access to the damaged sites, Iran's nuclear sites, it has been stated repeatedly that, first of all, the agency has not fulfilled its duties. The Director General of the agency himself was negligent both in condemning the Zionist regime's military aggression in June and during the recent military aggression. Therefore, our recommendation to the Director General of the agency is that instead of repeating political statements that seem to be in line with election propaganda, he decides to act more responsibly regarding the duties he was entrusted with but failed to perform.
U.S. envoy Mr. Steve Witkoff and Mr. Jared Kushner are here in Doha to meet with the mediators, meaning with the Qatari officials, and the talks will be around all regional issues which are of concern, including, of course, the negotiations with Iran, but also including Lebanon and other files in the region. So they are not here for direct negotiations with the Iranians or related meetings. We're not expecting any high-level Iranian officials at the moment, but as I said, the technical meetings are ongoing since Luzerne, and they haven't stopped since then. Our position has always been very clear, which is that there should be no impediment to freedom of navigation through the strait and out, and that it's an international strait that we should all use openly and without any hindrance. ونحن على تنسيق تام مع مختلف دول المنطقة بما في ذلك الأشقاء في سلطنة عمان وباتصالات يومية لضمان سلامة العبور عبر المضيق. الحديث عن 6 مليار اللي هي الأموال الإيرانية المجمدة، هذه تعود إلى اتفاق أعلن عام 2023 بين الولايات المتحدة وإيران لإنشاء القناة الإنسانية هنا في قطر. هذه الأموال الأصل هي أن يتم تحويلها في إطار مشتريات لأغراض إنسانية حسب الاتفاق الذي كان في ذلك الوقت. فقطر ليست مالكة لهذه الأموال، هي فقط تقوم بدور الوسيط المالي لإدارة هذه الحسابات في إطار هذا الاتفاق بين. Regarding the confliction measure, as you know, there is a channel of communication that was established for that purpose, which has been used in the containment of the escalation that took place in the past couple of days. I won't go into the technical details of how that happens, but I would just say that there is a channel of communication that's been established, and it is in operation.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has remained defiant, delivering another uncompromising message from southern Lebanon.
First of all, we spoke, and I, along with the Minister of Defense, the Deputy Chief of Staff, the head of the command, and your commanders with whom I spoke, the battalion and brigade commanders, I salute you. You did a massive job here, and essentially what we did was take the Iranian axis and start crushing it. We attacked Iran itself, something no one believed, and we did not hold back. An existential threat. The most important link in the Iranian axis was Hezbollah right here. They had 150,000 missiles and rockets, which was the densest concentration of missiles and rockets on Earth. Today, they have about 8% left. It is still significant, but it is no longer what it was. In your activity, we eliminated some 9,000 terrorists, hundreds of terrorists in recent weeks. And of course, the main thing we did, and this is what you're doing here, is to create buffer zones, security zones, not on our side of the border, but on their side. So we are doing this in Lebanon. We did it in Gaza. These security zones are a change of concept. It means we do not allow an army of terrorists to sit on our border, and we push them back. That is what you are doing, and destroying everything above ground and underground that served them, because essentially every means of attack against them, infiltration, attack, terror tunnels, the terror village, all of that is gone. This is an instruction not to leave anything behind, and you are doing it. I think the most important thing for you to know is, first of all, that our directive, mine, the defense ministers, the chief of staffs, and the deputy chief of staffs, is first and foremost to protect yourselves. Yes, you see, you identify a threat to your security, to your lives, to your soldiers, act. Do not wait to act. This is an ironclad directive, but because we achieve this thanks to your operation here. Lebanon recognizes Israel. Israel recognizes Lebanon, and both Iran and Hezbollah are being told, get out of here. You have no business here. Are there two sovereign countries that want to make peace between them? We truly want to restore a reality of security and prosperity for the residents of the North, and also for the residents of Lebanon. You need to leave. This is a slap in the face, a punch in the face of the Iranian axis, and it won't necessarily pass quietly. We are very proud of what we achieved thanks to your courageous action, and also the decisions we made and our insistence that we do not leave southern Lebanon until the threat is neutralized. And as long as an armed Hezbollah is here threatening us, we are staying here.